He's not doing the leg workouts at the 2019 NFL Players Combine in Indianapolis because of hamstring issues, but that didn't stop Jawaan Taylor from saying his own name when asked who was the best tackle in the 2019 draft. Taylor is the junior from the University of Florida that declared early for the draft and is currently doing what he can at the Combine. "You have to give it to Taylor. He's beaten most odds in this football thing." A three-star prospect out of Melbourne High School, Taylor showed up with a chip on his shoulder at Florida, but also as a guy that had a lot taken off of his shoulders when he did arrive. Taylor had weight issues in high school. In the summer before his senior season, he was pushing 400 pounds. While he was still somewhat productive at that weight, it certainly held him back from being as good as he could be. He showed up at a summer camp at Florida, a month before his senior season at Melbourne, and performed at the camp for the Florida staff that was then run by head coach Jim McElwain. "Having been at the camp myself, it was quite apparent that Taylor could move mountains with his strength. It was also quite apparent that he would run out of gas pretty quickly and there were certain things he couldn't do." McElwain and staff liked a lot of what they saw out of Taylor that day. They also had about 40 things they didn't like. The extra pounds that were holding him back. They made a deal with Taylor that if he lost the weight, he would get a scholarship offer. Teammate Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was already committed to Florida and that was a big deal to Taylor. The pursuit was on. Without the Florida offer, he ended up committing to Miami in August of 2015, just before the start of his senior season. But he wanted more. November rolled around and Taylor visited Florida unofficially. By this time, he lost considerable weight, his play was better, he was doing the things that the Florida staff asked him to do and was seeing results. Florida offered. It took just 3 days for him to decommit from Miami and another day to commit to the Gators. Still, it was nothing more than a recruiting win for the Gators over a rival at this point. As a three-star prospect, Taylor had more to prove. The Gators signed 7 offensive linemen in 2015, the year before Taylor arrived. 3 of that group had to play in their first season on campus: Martez Ivey, Fred Johnson, and Tyler Jordan. 2 of those are with Taylor in Indianapolis this week at the Combine. Jordan will get his time to impress scouts at UF's Pro Day. Those 3 linemen playing as freshmen in 2015 meant they would likely play as sophomores in 2016. Future NFL tackle David Sharp was also part of that group and he was holding it down at left tackle. A lot was stacked against him to play in year 1, but Taylor continued to work. He would play in a limited role in the first 2 contests, sometimes when the offense would add a 6th lineman or after the game got out of hand. An injury to Jordan midweek saw Taylor enter the starting lineup in Game 3 his freshman season, and he's never left the starting lineup since. McElwain was asked about Taylor shortly after the starting assignment. "Here's a guy that you talk about committing to something that is really important to you," McElwain started. "He came to camp in the summer, and we said, hey, we need you to come back and be able to move a little bit better." He came back at the end of Florida fall camp down to about 340 and playing like a ball of rolling butcher knives. "I love the way he plays and the energy he plays with." Taylor started 11 games in 2016. He started all 13 in 2017 with the last 2 flipping to left tackle because of an injury up front, and then he started all 13 games in 2018 at right tackle. Taylor drew freshman All-SEC honors by the coaches and freshman All-American honors by various publications in 2016. He drew second-team All-SEC honors in 2018, his junior year. He's proven a lot, and now he's got more to prove. So, he was asked Thursday in Indianapolis who he thought was the best defensive tackle in the draft, and he didn't hesitate. "I feel like I'm the best defensive tackle in the draft," he said. He knows it won't be easy, but he's never had that handed to him as a player. The NFL, you know it's a grown man's game on you, got to be able to go against the top guys every Sunday, Taylor said. So, I know I have to be ready to play for big-time games and big-time players. He's never shied away from competition, and feels again that he is ready to take that next step, just like he did 3 years earlier. At Florida, playing in such a great conference and against the best competition every Saturday, it was a dream come true, he said. I feel like they definitely prepared me for the NFL, and as much as he is confident, he understands that others now control his destiny and that he has to do what they want him to do. He's had a taste of left tackle. If that's where the NFL sees him, then so be it. NFL right tackle, he said when asked what position he sees himself at. Anything they want to put me at to win, I'm going to do it. There's really not been any discussion about any specific position, but wherever they want me to play, I'm going to play it. There aren't many that are going to be in the draft at his position with as much experience against big-time competition that Taylor has seen in his time at Florida. Some may not believe that the guy that weighed in at 312 pounds this week is the top tackle in the draft, but he does. And I wouldn't bet against him.